Hello everyone, good evening, Jai Hind, and I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good evening, Ahmed Mansoor, good evening everyone. So I hope I am properly audible and visible to everyone. Jai Hind, good evening. So I guess I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Okay, so welcome everyone to the daily current affairs session of today. And in today's session, the topics which we are going to talk about, the first topic which we have with us is related to passive euthanasia. So there is a very famous case going on with respect to one of a person, and in this light, again, this one topic of passive euthanasia has come to light. So we will try to see this thing, that what is passive euthanasia, what are the cases and what are the precedents which is related to this euthanasia, what are the moral, ethical issues also with respect to this. Second part is, there is a demand of a separate union territory by the Kuki groups, the Kuki groups in Manipur. So we will try to just have a glimpse of this one topic of the Manipur crisis, that what has been going on in the last 2-3 years in case of Manipur. What is the condition now? What things have changed over the past 2 years? We are going to look into this one thing. There is something called as futuristic marine technology and space biotechnology. The futuristic marine technologies, what are the components in there? Plus in the space biotechnology, what are the new things? We are going to see this topic. Then we will also talk about this carbon credit thing. We will try to see some examples how it is being used by the Delhi government and others in order to get some benefit out of this carbon credit market. We will try to see how this actually works on the normally we know what is carbon credit, what is carbon credit certificate. It is traded in international market, but we will try to see a much more real life example of this, how it actually works. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss. But first, let's start with this one question. Valley of Flower National Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It consists of mostly alpine and tundra type of vegetation. So which of the statements given above is are correct? So here we have the first question. Here we have the first question, which is with respect to Valley of Flower National Park. The first question, which is with respect to Valley of Flower National Park. C option. C option is both 1 and 2. Okay. Both. Just 1 second. Valley of Flower National Park is UNESCO World Heritage Site. This first part is correct. But if you look at this, it consists of mostly alpine and tundra type of vegetation. If you look at this second statement, do you think it is correct? Like alpine and tundra type of vegetation. Valley of Flower National Park is quite famous for the huge number of flowers which it is having. It is mostly up to having subalpine vegetation. But tundra type of vegetation means there will be nothing like that flowers. It has got 600 plus varieties of flower. If it is a tundra type of vegetation, how that will be possible? So if you look at the second statement, it says that mostly of alpine and tundra type of vegetation. This one statement is incorrect. The answer here will be A option, only one. The correct answer will be option number A, that is only one. Now, this is one question which was there in 2020. Siachen Glacier is situated to the east of Aksai Chin, east of Leh, north of Gilgit, north of Nubra Valley. North of Nubra Valley. So this was one of the question in 2020. Siachen Glacier, in which location it is present? The first says that east of Aksai Chin, east of Leh, north of Gilgit, and then north of Nubra Valley. So what should be the correct answer? This is quite famous question. This is a previous year question also. I think you all should be able to answer this. D option, C option. D option. C option is incorrect. See, east of Aksai Chin we have Tibet. Then east of Leh also will find Aksai Chin and other areas. North of Gilgit, there is no such in the north of Gilgit you will not find the Siachen Glacier. That is the upper ranges of Jammu and Kashmir. And then north of Nubra Valley, this is the correct answer. It is in north of Nubra Valley. The D option is correct here. Coral reef are generally present along the eastern coast of continents. There is presence of shallow coast on eastern coast of continents. The first statement here is coral reef are generally present along the eastern coast of continents. Second is saying there is presence of shallow coast on eastern coast of continents. So what will be the correct one? Question number 3. Question number 3. What shall be the correct option? A option, C option. A option. A option and C option. Now, if we look at this, coral reef are generally present along the eastern coast of continents. This one part is correct. Generally, we will find them on the eastern coast of continent. So that is correct. But why they are there? It's not because of shallow coast. It is not because of the shallow coast. The region is not correct here. The reason is the presence of warm water, not the shallow coast. So there is no such linkage of shallow coast on the eastern part of continents. If it was that because there is presence of warm water on the eastern coast of continents, so that would have been correct. The second option is incorrect. The answer here will be option number C. So these were the topics. Now we are going to this one thing. So now there is this one thing, like now we are going to talk about this one thing called as euthanasia. So if I give you the context of this one topic, the context is this: there is one person called as Harish Rana. There is one person, Harish Rana. Now, if you look at this, he is quite young. He is of 31 years of age. But in 2013, he fell off from 4th floor, and due to that accident, he got like in a situation where he has not been able to recover. He has not been able to recover. So it has been more than 13 years. He has been bedridden for more than 13 years. There is like a quadriplegic disability, and he is 100% paralyzed. So he is being fed through tubes and all. There is no chance of recovery. There is no chance of recovery for this person. So there is a plea that he should be given this passive euthanasia. So there has been a case, there has been a demand for this passive euthanasia in High Court and Supreme Court in the past. But these cases have been rejected. These cases have been they have not been allowed passive euthanasia. So in this case, we are first going to see what exactly is passive euthanasia and active euthanasia. Which one is allowed, which one is not allowed in India. So there is one thing called as euthanasia. There is one term called as euthanasia. Euthanasia. In Hindi, it is quite simple. Iksha mrityu. So when we talk about euthanasia, it is like, it is the will of the person to die. Willingness of the person to die. It is about the willingness of the person to die. Person to die. Means a person wants to die because of many of the problems he might be facing. And here we are talking about this in medical terms. Yeah. This is something where we are talking about in medical terms. Here we are talking about in the medical terms that this person wants to die and he wants the doctor to this part. Like if he is skipped on medical support, he will continue to live. If the person is on a medical support, he will continue to live. But life would have no meaning. He would have no control over his body. He would have nothing. He or she might not be moving. He or she might be in a huge pain. So in that case, there is a medical way. There is a medical way of killing someone. It is also simply a medical way of letting a person die. Letting a person die. So there are two such methods of it. One is active euthanasia. One is active euthanasia. What is this active euthanasia? Active euthanasia is injecting some chemicals due to which the person can die. It is about injecting chemicals to let someone die. Let someone die. So that is something which is active euthanasia. This is something which is illegal in India and not allowed. This is something which is illegal in India. It is simply not allowed. It is not allowed. So active euthanasia is certain thing which is not allowed in India. Now there is another part which is called as passive euthanasia. There is one thing called as passive euthanasia. So this is like letting a person die, by removing the medical support. That a person is living just because of the medical support. A person is surviving because of the medical support, because of the medical help. And then, if there is no medical support, the person will die. So, passive euthanasia is a matter in which a person is allowed to die by simply not giving the treatment or not giving the medical support. So, this is something which is allowed in India. This is something which is allowed in India. It is something which is allowed in India. Allowed in India. So here we see that passive euthanasia is something which is allowed in India. It has been made legal. It has been made legal in 2018. It has been made legal in 2018. That passive euthanasia is certain thing which is allowed in India. By withdrawing this medical support, a person can be allowed to die. So there was this one thing, like there are multiple such cases which are there. There are multiple cases involving this matter. And multiple cases involving this matter. Like we have this one very famous case, Gyan Kaur versus the state of Punjab. So in that it was said that right to life does not include the right to die. So this is one thing, like in 1996, there was this one contention that the right to life under Article 21 also means right to die. Right to die. So this is one part which was argued. But here in 1996, it was said that right to life does not include the right to die. But it says that death with dignity at the end of life is the part of right to life. So it says that of course this right to die with dignity is a part of life. Now later on we have this very famous case, Aruna Schonberg versus Union of India case 2011. This was the major case with respect to this passive euthanasia. This was the landmark case with respect to passive euthanasia. So this was the first explicit recognition of passive euthanasia in India, and it allowed withdrawal of life support for patients in permanent vegetative state. And it said that the court approval is mandatory, the High Court, for each case. It says that for removing the life support in a vegetative patient, there must be a judgment from the High Court. High Court can allow this. So this is one thing. Aruna Schonberg case versus Union of India case. This was the first time when passive euthanasia was allowed. Then this case was the turning point. Common cause versus Union of India case. This declared passive euthanasia legal and recognized living wills or advance directives. And it said that individuals will have the right to refuse life prolonging medical treatment. That people will have this right that they can make a living will certificate. They can make a living will certificate that if there is a prolonged medical treatment requirement, then I should be allowed to let die. So there is a concept of living will, that a person can create a living will, that suppose in future there is a disease, there is such a problem, the person is not able to make a decision for himself. The person is not in a state to make any decision for himself or herself, then they can create a living will in advance. Like suppose a person is suffering from Alzheimer, or a person is suffering from cancer or any such thing. So they can make an advanced living will that beyond this point, I don't want any treatment. I should be allowed to let die in peace. So this is the part of passive euthanasia. Now coming to this one part. Okay. Like this is something which is allowed in India. It is legal. Now there is this one debate that this passive euthanasia, is it ethical? Is it ethical? That can we, suppose when we are talking about passive euthanasia also, when we are talking about this passive euthanasia also, what is this? Like suppose a person is there on a medical support. What will be called as passive euthanasia? Passive euthanasia will be like a person is there on a medical support, we are withdrawing the support, and then after the person will die. So is it something which is ethical? Is it something which is ethical that letting a person die, even when we know that with the help of medical support, that person can die? Sorry, that person can survive. Let's say that we have a device, we have a system that can keep a person alive. So can we let that person die? Can we let that person die? if we know that he or she can be kept alive? It seems unethical. Okay. No, sir, it's not ethical. It is not ethical. So now there are different arguments for it. Now suppose that when we talk about one side of it, it says that people will say that no, it is not ethical. Okay. Why? The person can live, the person can survive. We don't know about the miracles. Many a times, many persons who have been quite much in like uh, painful situations, they have been there in many of the challenges and still they have been able to recover. Many people have been able to recover even from such diseases which seemed like a, a killer disease. But at the same time, like keeping a person in a medical, in such a medical state where there is no such dignity in life. Life does not depend just like a person is surviving, taking oxygen, breathing, eating. It is not just life. Life is something which is with dignity. Life is something which is like with very much like happiness and all other things which are adding meaning to the life. A person who is completely in bed, a person who is completely in bed, the person is not able to do his regular chores. The person is not able to clean himself. The person is not able to feed himself, always dependent on someone. Will he feel that dignity? Will he feel that dignity that if he is continuing in that position, in his mind or in her mind, will that person feel that dignity for himself or herself? So this is one part. Like there is one thing like a physical pain, but suppose someone is there, they are completely dependent on anyone else, even for basic thing, even for basic thing. So will it be possible for them to live happily inside? So that is also one thing. Like normal person, if we talk about any normal person, you might have seen sometimes if people have their broken legs, even if a person has broken their legs and they have to depend on any other person for their regular activities, so then also it is quite a pain. It is quite an internal pain. It is quite a challenge. So people don't want anyone else to do their activities, to do their chores, or to do anything for them. So in that situation, it will be quite painful for any person. So there are two sides of it. One side will believe that yes, we have the life support, so we be continuing it. But if you take from that person perspective also, the person who is there on the bed, from that person's perspective also, if you look at it, majority of them say that rather than this life, they would like uh, like to have a peaceful death. So this is one thing which we see. There are multiple such ethical debates on it, that should euthanasia be allowed or not. In case of India, active euthanasia is not allowed. Passive is allowed, but active euthanasia is not allowed. Now there are debate also around this, that sometimes passive euthanasia is not sufficient enough. The person can survive without medical treatment, but the life has got no meaning from there. So this is one part which we see in case of passive euthanasia. Now coming to the next part. So there is this Manipur issue. There is this Manipur issue. एक बहुत बढ़िया बंगाली मूवी भी बनी है, अरुणा शॉनबाग. Now Coming to this one part, there is a conflict which is going on in Manipur between two such communities. There are this conflict going on between two communities for quite a long period of time. Now, what we see that there is an agreement. There is an agreement. What is the agreement? The agreement is this, that the Kuki-Jo Council, there is one thing, Kuki-Jo Council, they have said that they are ready to join government, but they have a demand. And what is that demand? A separate, they want a separate union territory for Kuki people, with legislature. That they want a separate union territory for the Kuki people with legislature. So there is this one demand that they should have their own territory. They should have their own territory because coexistence is something which is quite challenging for them. According to them, coexistence might not be possible. Even if we are able to bring peace right now, it may cause conflict in future, and then again this problem may remain. So they have said that there should be a separate union territory for the Kuki people. Now, you may be aware about this entire Manipur issue. Can you tell me how it all started? In 2023, how it all has started? This Manipur crisis, how this all has started? How this entire thing has started with respect to the Manipur crisis? Are you aware about this? How did the conflict started in case of Manipur? Any one of you who is aware about this? That why there is a conflict in Manipur? Why there is a conflict in Manipur between Kuki and Methi people? Methi's people started, yes, High Court decision was there. Yes. So there was this one conflict. There was a High Court judgment. With respect to the ST status to Methi people. So from there, we see that the conflict has started. From this part itself, the conflict has started. So that is one thing which we see here, that conflict has started somewhere near in 2023 when this one thing was going on. But then again, there are multiple issues because of this. There is issues with respect to land rights and resources. There is a conflict. There is a conflict among the Kuki and Methi groups historically for the land rights and resources. For the land rights and resources, there has been a historical conflict between these two groups. There is also one thing, that in many of these areas, there is illegal drug smuggling, which is also quite famous. Illegal drug works or illegal drug smuggling, and even like cropping, which is going on. So many of the drug mafias are also having their interest in keeping the area in a lawlessness state. They also have an interest in this, that the entire area should remain lawless. There should be a state of lawlessness, because only in that state they would be able to carry on their illegal drug thing. So this is also one thing which is going on in Manipur. Then we will see that due to all these things, there have been a violence. There has been a violence, and it has been going on for some time. Now there is a demand for separate union territory. So when we talk about this separate union territory, if suppose that if they are provided a separate union territory or a separate area, so what can be the potential benefit? What can be the potential benefit and challenges? If they are provided a separate duties, what can be the potential benefit or challenge? What can be the potential benefit or challenge with respect to a separate union territory? There is conflict between tribal groups. Yes. Valley tribes and hill tribal groups, correct. So if suppose that Kuki people and Methi people, if they are getting this one thing, there will be one major challenge. The resources, how they are going to be distributed. The entire conflict is over land and resources. And when we are going for a separate UT, there can be one of the major challenge that how it is going to be divided. The challenge will be demarcation of this territory. Demarcation of union territory plus this resource sharing. So we will find that this will become quite a challenging situation, that how they are going to go for this demarcation of the union territories, then how they are going to go for resource sharing. Even if they are going for it, how there will be a sustainability of a small state. The sustainability of a small state in hilly areas. That how the state will be sustainable, how it will be able to get the revenue, how it will be able to carry out the different tasks which it can do. So this is one part. Okay. Now here the benefits can be potential. There can be a reduction in conflicts. There can be a reduction in conflicts. There can also be law and order. This can also be improved. There can also be an improvement in law and order situation. There can also be a part like law and order situation. This can also get improved. Development work. Political empowerment. Right now what we see that both the groups are having multiple leaders. And they are searching for other alternatives. Like right now we are able to contain this issue somewhat. And they are demanding this one thing, that we should have a union territory within the constitutional framework of India. Now you may have seen that sometimes when the aspirations are not met, there is also a demand from many of the groups that they want a separate country itself. So that is also a challenge. If you are not able to meet the aspirations of the people, if you are not able to provide them a solution, they might start asking for other alternatives. So that is also one of the challenge, that right now the demand is only of a union territory within the constitutional framework of India. What if they start demanding something else entirely? So that is one thing which we have to see very much carefully, that how we are going to execute this, how we are going to solve this crisis. The main thing is, in all of this, there is one solution. The solution is very much simple. The solution is very much simple. Continuous engagement and political dialogue. Continuous engagement and political dialogue. Or political meetings. These are the most important part for bringing peace to any region. There should always be a talk. There should always be a discussion, a debate. And when these things are there, so from these discussions and debate, we are going to get the answer. There is always a compromise in these situations. There is always a compromise in these situations. By meeting one thing or other, people are able to meet these. People are able to cater these problems. Other groups also demand. Yes, there can be a demand. There can also be a demand from other groups that we also want a new union territory. So there can be other alternatives also. You might be aware about this, that in case of India, there is existence of multiple such options, that a separate autonomous districts are provided. Separate autonomous districts are provided. They are given more flexibility. So the solution is not like providing UT. The solution is continuous engagement, continuous empowerment, and finding a solution for entire thing. So this is one thing which we have to see in case of Manipur issue, right? Now coming to the third part. Coming to this third part, college futuristic marine and space biotechnology. So देखो, what is exactly this futuristic marine technology? What exactly is this futuristic marine technology? And how we are there in this space biotechnology. So there is this one thing, what exactly they are. First of all, we have to understand what is this space biotechnology. So let's start with this first part. What is space biotechnology? What is this space biotechnology? Any idea about this? Space biotechnology? This is an emerging area. This is an emerging area, space biotechnology. So what do you think? What is this? Space biotechnology? This is basically the study of microbes, plants or animals in the in this microgravity condition. Right now, if we talk about this, it is a study of, this is about a study of microbes, plants, or other organisms in microgravity condition. In microgravity conditions. Let me give you an example. We have recently seen that there was this Axiom 4 mission. And in Axiom 4 mission, we have our group captain Shubhanshu Shukla. And when he went there, he has also carried out multiple such research on many of the cereals which were grown, or many of the crops which were grown in microgravity conditions. There was this study of microalgae. There was also a study of tardigrades. There was germination of crops. So multiple such things, even cyanobacteria related experiments were carried out in the space. Now, there is another part. There is this marine biotechnology. There is this another segment called as marine biotechnology. So there we are studying the other organisms in microgravity condition. So here also we are doing this biotechnology in extreme conditions, such as like high pressure, salinity, lack of oxygen, etc. So we are also studying this one part, that how the organisms are behaving in low sunlight, salinity, high pressure, lack of oxygen. So these are certain things which we see in case of space biotechnology and marine biotechnology. So these are the parts which we see in the case of these two. Now, why they are important? Why they are considered as important? What is the significance of these technology? When we talk about the marine biomanufacturing, it can provide food, energy, chemicals, biomaterials, and pharmaceuticals. So it can reduce the pressure on land and freshwater resources. So this can provide us food, energy, chemicals, biomaterials, etc. Whereas this space biotechnology can also help in safe food production, life support system, human health management, and long duration space missions. So in international space stations or space programs, this can again be quite crucial. It can be quite crucial. So if we look at this, now these are all futuristic technology. If we talk about India, India is a novice player, or you can say that a new beginner in this field. There are some countries who are already experimenting with this space biotechnology and marine biotechnology, but we are also there. We are also there in the novice stage or the beginners stage. In upcoming times, with this plans of ISRO and deep ocean mission and other missions, we might also be going for these technologies. But right now, India is in a early stage because of this. It may happen that in upcoming years, you might get more and more topics related to this. So that is futuristic marine and space biotechnology. I hope this is clear. What is these two technologies? Any doubt in this? Technology which helps in existing life in space. But we are also planning that why just have life in space? Let's bring something from there also. That we might be able to bring certain things from there also to Earth, from the space. Next time you can have your cornflakes delivered directly from the space station, or the corns developed from there. Think about this, like suppose you are having any such crops grown in space sent to you. Like suppose there is one such auction. That there is a carrot which has been grown on International Space Station, and that is being auctioned at some place. Can you think about that? What will be the price of that carrot? What can be the price of that one carrot? Marine means it is related with sea or ocean. Marine technology is related to, there is one simply blue economy. Blue economy is like still a wider term which is using lakes, lagoons, water related everything. So there is a blue economy which is related to everything. And that was nice one, that there will be a tariff on that also. There has been tariff on those islands where there is no person living. There are certain islands which are having tariff, but these islands have no government, no people, no trade, and still there is a tariff on them. So yes, you can expect. Now here we are coming with this carbon credit. Now what is the context? What is the context here? See this. Now, like there is this Delhi government. There is Delhi government. This Delhi government is operating, this one is operating electric bus. It is operating this electric bus. It is having plantation. It is having plantation. It is like promoting solar energy. This is something which is promoting solar energy also. And in fact, waste management also. Waste management. Now, all these activities, they are reducing carbon emission. They are reducing this carbon emission. And you might be aware about this, that when we are doing some work which is leading to reduction in carbon emission, so this will generate carbon credit. This is going to generate carbon credit. What is carbon credit? You might be aware about this, that one carbon credit is provided if anyone has been able to reduce 1 ton of carbon dioxide release. Like if you have prevented 1 ton of carbon dioxide from getting released into the environment, if you have prevented 1 ton of carbon dioxide from getting released into the environment, or you have been able to absorb 1 ton of carbon dioxide, then that agency or person will be awarded a carbon credit. Now, this carbon credit can generate income. Now, this carbon credit can be sold in carbon market, can be sold in carbon market, can be sold in carbon market. So Delhi government has a plan that this is something which will be getting, these will be getting or converted into carbon credit. It will be sold in national or international carbon market. And then at the same time, here there is this one part, like this is going to bring funds, and that fund will go to the state consolidated fund. That will go to the fund of the state. This will be going to the fund of the state. Means the state government, the Delhi government is going to get money out of this. It will be deposited in the consolidated fund of the state. So this is one plan. Similarly, Maharashtra government is also coming up with these plans. 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide. So this is one thing, like this is the plan of Delhi government also. Now suppose that when we talk about this carbon credit, so what is the demand? Like what is the price of this carbon credit? When we talk about this, what is the price of one carbon credit? One carbon credit. What is the price of one carbon credit? Any idea about this? What is the price of one carbon credit in international markets? Now, it depends on this. It depends on this part, that the price can be from $1 to $500. The price can be from $1 to $500. It depends on what type of carbon credit it is. It depends on the compliance and standard. So this is something which depends on, okay, depends on type of carbon credit, verification, compliance standard, etc. Like, for example, European Union. In case of European Union, their carbon credits are going for approximately 80. That is the rate of their carbon credit. It is going at near about 80. 200 से 300 रुपए. It depends on the quality. It depends on the quality, that what type of quality it is, how it is being, how it has been verified, what is the compliance. It depends on all these things. But you will find that this is one of the most significant way of incentivizing. This is one of the most significant way of incentivizing the green energy. That people are getting this like incentive for the carbon which they have saved, for carbon which emissions they have prevented. So this is the most significant way in order to promote the green energy. In upcoming times, if we are having very, like, that is why this standard need to be set up at global level. We need to set up a global level standard that individually people can also contribute. There should be some standards which can be developed so that people can also contribute to it. People can also earn or fetch money by this carbon credit. That they should be having some maybe they are planting the trees, and on basis of that they can again have these carbon credits. So there is this one thing, like it should be made a global standard. There is a need of developing a global standard on how these are going to be verified. India is setting up its national carbon market. India is also setting up its national carbon market. So if there is more and more people's participation from the smaller industries and all, so then it can become a public movement, and then more and more people will be getting aware towards this. So even when the Uncle Sam is not caring about it, still it is something which can be done still by global participation. This is something which can help in like fighting against the climate change. So that is carbon credit. That is the aim of Delhi government, Maharashtra government and others, in order to directly use the green policies for generating revenue. Sir, as I know that the world decides the limit for making carbon dioxide and India crossed that limit, it is purchasing credit from foreign countries. How come you know about this? हाँ, ग्रीन इसमें ग्रीन वॉशिंग ये सब चीजें हो सकती हैं. Remember one thing, Karthik. India's, if we talk about this per capita emission of India, remember one thing, not today, not 10 years later, not 20 years later. In the next 100 years also, the per capita emission of India is going to be much lower than any of the developed countries which you see in the world. The per capita emission of India is much lower as compared to any country in the world. Like many of the developed nations which you see, if you compare the per capita emissions, we are quite on the lower side. So it's not that India will be purchasing. India has been one of the beneficiary of this carbon credit program under the Kyoto Protocol. India and China, they have been the major beneficiary of carbon credit program under this Kyoto Protocol. So we don't have to think about that we are the major carbon emitter country. Have to look at the population also. India has got the largest population of the world. So of course there will be more pollution. We cannot just look at just a country which is having the third largest. We can have the largest pollution because we have the largest number of people. And at the same time, if we calculate our per capita emission to any country of the world, leave the any country of world, our per capita emission is half of the global per capita emission. Our per capita emission is half of the global per capita emission. Benefits of population, yes. The population is beneficial many a times. So that will be all for today. Let's meet tomorrow and then we will discuss further more topics. Thank you everyone. Take care and all the best. Thank you.